once, twice, 3 times. Alright, we're going to start by removing the left panel with the pry tool. Then we're going to head over to the lower dash. Again, using the pry tool, you're going to go on the left side, on the right side of the steering wheel, and just use the pry tool to loosen up the clip. Now we're going to head over to the steering wheel and just remove the screws on either side of the steering wheel. I'm going to turn the car so I could turn the steering wheel freely. Once we got the screws out, we're going to take off the bottom half of the steering column. Use a pry tool. I'm just going to stick it under the blinker switch and pull it right down. Now we're going to head over to the BCM. We're going to look for the top one, which has all the wires coming out of it, and plug in the BCM T-harness in line, and then plug it back into the factory BCM port. Once that's completed, we're gonna attach the ground. Unscrew this bolt, put on the ground wire onto the bolt, and screw it back in. Make sure you screw it in very tight. Use a ratchet. Now we're going to head over to the lower right hand side of the lower dash, and we're going to remove the OBD2 port. There's 2 clips, one on each side. You're just going to stick in the pry tool on either side, and the OBD2 port will come out. Now this is not so clear, but we are going to take the OBD2 that we just unplugged, you see it right there on the right hand side, and plug in the T-harness in line, and then we're going to place the other end of the T-harness back into the factory port that we just unclipped the factory one from. Now we're going to head over to the ignition switch. Right behind where you place the key into the ignition, there's going to be an 8-pin clip. We're going to unplug that, place the ignition T-harness in line, and plug the T-harness back into the factory port. Now we're going to go on to the TPMS connection. This is optional. This is only if you want, once you remote start the car, that you should be able to use your key fob instead of actually physically inserting your key into the door to unlock it. So we're going to go over to the passenger kick panel. First we're going to remove the sill plate using a pry tool. And then we are going to unscrew. There's a nut, a plastic nut on the kick panel. You could just remove it with your hands. If you need to, you can use a Phillips screw, but usually they're loose enough, you could just use your hands. So we're going to unscrew that nut. And then using your hands, just pull out the kick panel. Now, once we got that off, we're going to be connecting into the bottom right port. You're going to unplug that, place the T-harness in line, and plug the T-harness back into the factory port. Now we're going to take the wire that's connected to the T-harness and we are going to place it behind the carpet. You could just pull it down with your hands. We're going to run that wire behind all the carpet on the passenger side. Then in the top left corner, we are going to stick the wire through. You can use something like a piece of cardboard just to help you get through from one side to the other side. We're going to feed it through to the driver's side. And we're going to plug it into the red port of our module. Once, twice, 3 times.